right, here we are, Jordan. This is your first trip up here, isn't it?
It is.
So this is the new spot, the future spot for the Grubbs Motorsports engine shop / restoration shop. So we're standing in Pottsboro, Texas, about 1 mile from Lake Texoma. Bought this place in March, and we have been working up here about 1 day a week, some weekends, and getting it looking good. It was pretty rough when we moved in. The place has been shut down for several years. It starts over there. The billboard is ours. That sign will stay up for about a year. And then we got our new sign up there. We'll do some more signage out here as we get closer to opening. We've got 2 acres over here that will future develop. We're going to build a body shop back there where that trash can is, and put up our old paint booth in there so that we can do some paint work here. Not planning on doing a whole lot here, but if things keep going like they are, we'll have to do some of the completes up here with the insurance work getting busier down in Garland. So the future plans are we're going to keep Garland moving. It's going to be mostly collision, and of course World Tech will stay there. I'd say pretty much every bit of hot rod stuff will be up here eventually, and that may take us a few years to make that transition. A few of the guys are moving this direction. A few of the guys live close enough. They'll make the drive probably 4 days a week, and this will be our future home. So trying to get a little out of the city, get up here where things are a little bit slower, and enjoy the second half of the career after 23 years or however long it's been. But we got lots of parking, lots of room for expansion. So building is about 8,500 feet currently. It's got pretty killer storage upstairs. This side over here, pretty empty right now. Got a couple containers. Come on in. So this is kind of a, I guess when you walk in, waiting area, whatever, we've got our little setup over there with our computers already going. I think the plan is we're going to widen this door. That way we could actually have a car up here for sale if we wanted to. This is a big area, and it's kind of kind of wasteful to not do something with it. We've done a little bit, nothing super clean, but we've remodeled this office. This will end up being my office eventually. But it's newly painted and lighted. Just got to finish trimming out some stuff. So this will be really the only office. The other office we're going to do parts inventory in. Apologize for my cold and cough. This is, I don't know, something. Yeah, it's got to be. They're trying to kill us. All that stuff they're spraying in the air. Don't laugh at me. You know it's true. In here we've inventoried quite a bit of stuff. You'll see there's 100 and, I don't know, 40 or 50 camshafts that are all inventoried. Pretty good mix. A lot of big block Chevrolet and small block, and then some small block Ford stuff. A lot of it's boat takeout stuff, so not totally up our alley, but we will be building boat engines. In here's just mostly pistons. We've inventoried all that. Got a pretty good, been buying up pistons and blocks, knowing this thing was happening for the last 2 years. So we've got a pretty good supply, pretty good cylinder heads, lots of blocks. Just trying to buy it when you can, because some of those cores are getting difficult to find. But just a generic mix. The cool thing is some of this stuff's early 2000s, back when we actually made crap in America that was good, and it's definitely pre-COVID. There's not a ton of it, but the camshafts are. There's some lifters, there's some other stuff that will work out well. It's brand new stuff in the box, so hanging on to all that. This room over here was the parts room, so I moved everything in there. My plan in here is this is going to be our engine build room, since it's going to be close to up front. We've cleared out all the shelves, started organizing bearings and rings and stuff like that. We'll line the walls with slat wall. There'll be, gaskets on the wall. Bring in our metal tables, and then this is basically going to be our sealed, clean engine assembly room. So after machine work, they'll come in here to get put together. It's a pretty good spot, pretty big. Pretty decent space. Yeah, we're going to redo all the lights and convert to LED That's the next move in here. But there's plenty of light, so it'll be nice once it's all done. But this is much bigger than what I have right now to build in. You've seen it gets pretty tight, but we've figured out we can, with the table against the wall, we can comfortably do 4 on this wall. We'll set another table out here where we can work on either side of it. So, you know, 8 to 10 in here comfortably, and then plus you've always got some stuff going in the machine shop where you're, you know, doing your mock-up and things like that. So it should be a good spot. Plenty big.
I'll put a clip in the current. No Mikey today either?
He's up Texoma. They're delivering our propane tank.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah. So he's up there doing that.
3 days after you actually needed it?
Well, it was supposed to be there last week, but and then out here is the shop. We've done quite a bit. Like I said, since we moved in, there's still a ton of upstairs to inventory. You'll see all that. Some of that's my stuff and some of it's stuff that was already here. Lots of rods and pistons from different engines that have blown up over the years that they built here or wore out stuff. Some of it's good. We're planning to go through it and see what's usable or not, and maybe we can build some, you know, budget build stuff with used parts just to use them up with. But this area right through here is machine shop, and we'll kind of go through if you want to see each piece of equipment. That's a really nice piece. We've already been using that actually. We've already cut a few sets of heads. I think I even sent you a couple videos, but that's just something we were messing with. Built a few motors, everything's been good with, you know, cutting the head surface on here. So that's a Sunnin surfacer. It's primarily, right now it's set up for cylinder heads, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. You can do blocks on it, but I got another machine over here that we're going to just do blocks on. So we've got this one just cylinder heads all the time, and then that one will be blocks or specialty stuff. The cool thing right here is they've got this crane that sweeps this whole area. So anything right through here, whether it be surface, boring it, honing it, or line honing it, you don't have to pick anything heavy up. So we'll just pick it up with this, swing it around, set it. And, you know, none of us are getting any younger, and none of us have a good back. So we'll utilize that for sure. It'll come in handy, especially on them big, heavy, big blocks. Over here's the boring bar. It's semi-automated. It's better than the generic 1 hole at a time. This one will actually cut 4 holes at a time. So you program it to what it is, you set everything up, and then once you get it all dialed in and located, it'll cut your 4, rotate it over, cut your other 4, so you don't have to be standing here the whole time. It's a little more efficient than the old school. That's an old Sunnin engine hone, so got it's been sitting a little while. We're going through all this equipment, kind of getting it back up and running, cleaning it, getting it calibrated, having the guys come out that made it, and, you know, just kind of verify that everything's good, see what parts we need. That's been one of the things we've had to do along the way. This over here is a line hone. So if you're having to true up the main journals, that's how you do it here. Basically, that long hone goes through the block. You run it with this, and you just pull this in and out of the block. Highly technical. We will have to definitely practice on a few on that, because that's a machine there that you could ruin a good block quickly if you don't know what you're doing. So there's some of that stuff we'll get training on and do that. That cuts the caps. So basically you true that surface up, and then you have to go back and make this round again. So that's basically what line honing is. You're not like making the hole, you're just making it round again and making it all true in parallel. So over here's the balancer. So it's all computer balance. It's a Heinz. They're about the best brand in the world. It's all digital. Weigh up all the rods and pistons, and then calculate where to drill the crank or where to add weight to it. And that's key on any race engine or high performance application. When you start changing rods and pistons, you got to balance it. There's our crankshaft inventory. Some of that's ours, and some of that stuff that was already here. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. Oh, yeah, you go upstairs, it's like, same with up there, tons of stuff. This one we brought in, I was talking about, we already surfaced that block for a friend of ours. I'm waiting on some more tooling to modernize it so it'll cut a slicker finish for a MLS type head gasket. Once we get that done, we'll be able to do any of the deck stuff here slick enough for the modern gaskets. Come over here, you got this is a connecting rod machine. So same deal here, you cut the caps on this machine, take just a minimal amount off the cap or the rod itself if it's an H-beam, cap screw type, and then this hone basically makes it true again. So you got a gauge setting fixture up here, and that's once you dial that in and get your bore size where you want it, you hone the rods, check them, let them cool down, make sure they stay round and all that. And so you don't use it as much as you used to. I mean, you'll still need to rebuild rods here and there, but most of our new builds have brand new rods, and that's already done. So this would be more for freshen ups, or if you had an original engine you wanted to build, like for a numbers matching car, you would utilize that machine there. And then over here is all the cylinder head stuff. This is Jeff Jones' territory. He's the cylinder head master. So you got a Sunnin cylinder head machine. That's where you do all your trick valve jobs, and you can do studs and guide plates, stuff like that, any machining for that. But this machine's mostly all valve job stuff. So lots of different cutters, different radiuses. All of these mean a different thing. How they cut the pocket, what you're trying to accomplish, and you really got to know what you're doing on this machine. It's a pretty nice piece though, about as good as it gets. Over here you got the valve grinder, and this is something that we picked up as well. This is a valve guide hone. So when you put in new valve guides, which you can do over here as well, you'll do the final hone on them here. Basically a drill hangs down and you just hone them until you get the clearance that you want. So, but that's going to be that's pretty much all of the actual engine equipment. If you go in here, you'll see next is the dyno room. So it's a Superflow 902 updated console. This is what actually runs the dyno. I'll flip that light on so you can see in there. So you'll stay in here with the engine up on that pedestal and do your testing. Computer will show you all your stuff, and a lot of stuff on the screen when you power it up. I think everything's turned on right now. But we did actually run an engine on here long enough to figure out that the dyno pump needed to be rebuilt. We figured it would, but we tried it. It did just set too long. But basically, you know, as you make your pull, it shows all the RPM, different temperatures, different, you know, there's your oil pressure gauge and stuff. And then it'll print you out a sheet when you're done and tell you throughout the whole range, horsepower and torque, and make sure it's, you know, doing what it's supposed to. Just a good tool, good to break them in properly. This one's a little more modern than some of them. It's actually got a break-in procedure, so it puts a certain amount of load on it for a certain length of time. Pretty critical in seating the rings and just overall keeping the right amount of pressure on the lower part of the engine. So you start an engine up and it just freewheels on a run stand. It's not the same as breaking it in under load. It just breaks it in better. Don't really know how to explain it. It's just the right way to do it. Also in this room, it's a cam doctor, so we can take any camshaft, put it in there and spin it, and it'll read the lobe and print off what the specs are. So if you got a cam you weren't really sure about what it is, we can do that. And then that's the flow bench. It's another one of the cylinder head tools. Jeff knows more about that than any of us as far as, you know, flowing the intake and the exhaust runner to see, you know, what the flow is. Then in here's the dyno room. Well, we're going to add some stuff outside to where the exhaust goes out to quiet things down, because we got neighborhoods around us now that didn't used to be here. So got a nice chain hoist in here, so bring an engine in, pick it up, set it right on the cart. You don't have to roll that outside. And got dual fuel tanks. We're going to set up one more once we get up here full time. That's fuel injection for any of our stack injected Cobra engines. So that way we'll have a standalone fuel system for pump gas, race gas, or fuel injection. So it'll all be sitting right here. Dry sump tank if you've got a, you know, if you had a late model motor with a dry sump tank, we can actually use ours. You don't have to take yours out of your car. So that's pretty handy. And So this will be a good spot. This room's climate controlled, it's heated and air conditioned. So that'll make, you really got to have that. You want to keep that engine at a constant temp when you're dynoing it, keep the air inlet temp the same. It's all good stuff. It's just something we're having to go through because it's set a while. Trying to get it updated and current so when we use it, it works every time and we're not wasting time. Then over here, this used to be the engine build room, but we've converted it. We're going to make it our fabrication room. Right now, it's just holding stuff. We've got our stuff we brought up that's just inventoried metal that we had. These are just some blocks we've been bringing up that core stuff. Some of it's good, some of it's new, some of it's, you know, just used cores. So on this, if you know anybody selling blocks, I'm all, you know, kind of like fastbacks, I'm always a buyer on them if they're good, especially the common V8 stuff. So they're getting really hard to find. So if, you know, if you've got blocks you want to get rid of, hit me up. If they're any good, we'll come get them. So this will end up being, once all that's out of here, sheet metal brake, welders, we'll have a welding table in the center. We're going to put a door over there so that we can go in and out to the lift. If we're building exhaust, we can come in here and it's, you know, more efficient. Yeah, not having to walk around. And saw, shrinker stretcher, just any of the stuff that's in Jeff's room, you know, all the videos you shoot in there, all that'll end up in here. We're not going to put a car in here though, it's just too small. Yeah, that'll be, but that will be the benefit with the lift right there. Since we moved in, we've done quite a bit of work over here as well. This had the floor done. Brian Kennedy did all this for us, and then we put up 3 lifts, 1 drive on and 2 here. We've got that one. We've got that one set up so that we could add a chassis dyno off the back of it if we decided to. Instead of in the ground, it would be off the ground. Probably won't do that anytime soon, but that's set up where it is for that reason, just in case. This is a couple small projects we've been working on up here. I don't know about small, but stuff that we could work on one day a week is this chassis. We started with it and got about 2 days in it, putting it together with 2 guys, so 30-something hours. Took it from powder coated to fully assembled. That goes under a 55 Ford pickup. So new Coyote, 6-speed automatic. It's gonna make a really nice truck. That's an Art Morrison chassis. This one here's a 71, I think, C10. Had a big block in it. We ripped it out and we're doing an LT4, big cam. Probably do a blower upgrade if Whipple ever gets theirs finished. We've got one on order, but they haven't started shipping them yet. Another car that we're building, Morrison chassis, CTSV engine. That worked out. Bought a new screw compressor with a dryer, so our air is clean and solid. Yeah, it is. Just trying to do everything. It's going to take a little longer to do it right, but I'm trying to, before we get fully in here, I want it 100%. You know, there's still a lot of little trim out stuff I want to do in here to make it really nice. Our block washing stuff, when we take them apart, will be on that wall. So you got a block washer. My buddy Bobby hooked me up with that one, and then that's a flywheel grinder, and then we'll have a tank over there with basically to vat the engines in, and then have our sandblaster along that wall as well. So any of the block cleaning procedures will take place over here, and we'll set up an area for that. This is another haul that we just picked up. Old man, 30-something years collecting, bought all this at one shop. He was forced to move, so a bunch of good cores there. Tall deck Chevrolet, a bunch of big block Chevrolets, some 4-speed Saginaws. So if any of this looks interesting to you, it might be for sale. I really bought it for the cores, so there's some good small block Fords and a lot of big block Chevrolets in there that we'll build eventually. But some of it's, you know, scrap iron. So if any of y'all wonder why I don't answer my phone sometime when you call, we've been doing this and the other. So don't get mad at me. I just run out of time some days. Got a golf cart for sale. Yep, I had that when I lived in Nevada to ride around, drink beer in the neighborhood, and I think I'll probably get a side-by-side here. That way if we want to run up to the marina, we can get there quicker. But yeah, it's a good unit, solid, low mileage, adult owned. This was your dad's buddy's. Kevin?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, the one that does the TV stuff or whatever. Yeah, that was his. So he just golfed with it, but minor scratch on the front. Nothing we can't handle at Grubbs Collision Repair. Might could even work that into the price if somebody's willing to pay full price for it.
Have Dougie paint it twice.
Yes. No, he'd probably pull this off in one.
I
But
hope so.
no, it's a good machine. So yeah, I'm selling that. Got a bunch of stuff up there. A lot of it's junk. There's blowed up stuff and rusted stuff, and part of the plan is this winter into spring, before it gets to be too hot, we'll inventory all that, scrap out what we don't need, and get some of that weight off of there. It's just too much stuff we'll never use up there. There's no need to keep it. Well, that's pretty much it. I got plenty of stuff to still do to it, but it's come a long way in about 9 months. I think we started off in March. Poured a bunch of concrete out here so that we can get around the building now and not have to go in gravel, because I didn't want to bring $200,000 car up here and have to drive through gravel. So got that done last summer. Got our heat working, so that was a plus. Got our propane tank installed, and next step is fire up a few of these machines we haven't run yet. So we've run about a third of them. We've done some cylinder heads, did Sean's for his race engine. Like I said, done several on the surfacer, done the block. But next up is going to be, I got to get some more honing oil, and we'll start honing some blocks and get that boring bar fired back up. So once we get there, we'll be pretty close.
Get some green paint in here.
Well,
Feels a little bit like a McDonald's.
yeah, I need to find if there's anybody out there that just likes to paint and lives close. I'd be willing to pay you. But I'm going to pay by the square foot, not by the hour, because the last time I did by the hour, it kind of got to me. So we'll just kidding, but I do want to get rid of that and go. I think that bathroom in there is already black, gray, and green, so that's the plan. It's kind of, it's just not.
Bright colors.
Well, and that part of the deal is down right at about 187 or 88 on the list of things to do as far as priority, and it'll get done, but it's good. We got cameras all in here, alarm. We're going to add some more lights with the doors down. There's a few areas that need some more light, but it's nice. This area is 2,400 feet right here of our workspace, so it's actually more than we have in Garland that's wide open, which we've never had that there. That building's so compartmentalized, which is kind of good, but at the same time it makes it tough. So you end up, got to move cars to do something, and we think we laid this out right. The sunset's over there, so the plan is we can keep these doors open under the awning and get a breeze in here and pull those doors down so the sun isn't just beating us. And that's kind of the layout of the lift, so everything's going to flow in from this way, because if you come in this way, it's uphill. So just kind of part of the layout we thought would be best. And, it works. We can work probably five cars in here comfortably. And then, like up front, we talked about that too. Like even that, if it's really cold and we don't want to heat the shop, it'd be really easy to put a chassis up there or a Cobra. Yeah. Once the motor's in it, it'd be easy to wire a car up there. You just have to put it on skates and roll it in. But
that wouldn't be any problem.
That way, if it's really cold and it does get super cold up here, we could work in there and we could work in the engine build room easily with those heaters and not have to, if it's 5 degrees, those heaters, they're not going to get it. So, but that's, for when we get up here full time, or we may just take a day off and say the heck with it and sit on the couch.
Don't sound too bad.
Second half of my career, I plan on doing a little bit more of what I want to do. That's why we're here. So,
Trans Am seat sitting.
Yeah, there's some really good roads around here to rip around, for sure. This is about typical right here. We got $300,000 worth of car over there to work on, and we got 2 people putting a tractor battery in. What is that? What's the book time on that, Merrill? Was it paid to R&I the battery in that deal? I was thinking 0.3 sounded fair. Yeah, so y'all gonna have to split that though. So 1.15 each. It's not bad.
What socket is above a half?
14.
Did you get me one?
Yep. Long or short?
It's probably a half, not a 13. He has a 13.
I don't believe you, Mikey. You're gonna have to learn the Dewey Decimal System.
He's struggling.
That's what I was telling Jeff. I've got $300,000 worth of vehicle to work on around here, and we got 2 guys working on a tractor battery.
Well, if you started this project, he can't put it these 2 places at once, right?
Does he have all of these right now?
No.
How come you ain't holding it?
I'm holding it.
What you measuring up there, Doctor?